Nina sat in her cramped, cluttered apartment, staring at the old, bulky quantum communication device on her desk. The hum of the city outside was a stark contrast to the eerie silence in her room. She inhaled deeply, her heart pounding with a mix of anticipation and dread. She glanced at Jax, the rogue quantum physicist with a knack for decrypting impossible messages, who was hunched over the device, fingers flying over the keys. "We're almost through the first layer of encryption," Nina said, her voice steady but urgent. "This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for." Jax nodded, his expression intense but focused. "Let's hope we're ready for whatever we find. This message is unlike anything I've seen before." The apartment was dimly lit, the only illumination coming from the soft glow of the device's screen. Outside, the neon lights of New Tokyo cast a vibrant, chaotic glow against the night sky. The message they were decrypting had been intercepted from deep space, a quantum signal that defied known physics. Every beep and crackle from the device sent chills down Nina's spine. Her skills as a cryptographer, honed over years of working in the shadows, would be tested like never before. A sudden crackle and beep made them both freeze. Nina's pulse quickened as Jax raised a hand, signaling for silence. The device emitted a series of tones, then a voice faint but clear spoke. "This is a message from the future. If you're hearing this, we need your help to prevent a catastrophe." Nina and Jax exchanged a tense glance. This wasn't just any signal, it was a cry for help from across time. "Let's decode the rest," Jax said, his voice barely a whisper. "We need to know what happens next." Hours passed as they worked tirelessly, their fingers flying over keyboards, eyes glued to screens. The room filled with the soft glow of data projections and the steady hum of quantum processors. As they decrypted more of the message, a story of impending doom unfolded, a cataclysmic event set to occur in their timeline, with devastating consequences. "This catastrophe," Nina said, her voice tinged with disbelief, "it's linked to our research into quantum entanglement. Our future selves are trying to warn us." Jax's expression was grim. "We have to act now. If we can alter our research path, we might prevent this disaster." They worked through the night, cross-referencing their current projects with the information from the message. Every discovery brought a new layer of urgency. The fate of their world hung in the balance, and they were running out of time. As dawn broke, they had a plan. They would present their findings to the Quantum Research Council, hoping to convince them to change the trajectory of their experiments. The council, known for its skepticism and bureaucracy, would be a formidable obstacle. "We need to be ready for a fight," Jax said, packing up their data. "They won't believe us easily." Nina nodded, her determination unwavering. "We have the evidence. We just need to make them see the truth." Their journey to the council's headquarters was fraught with tension. The city buzzed with activity, oblivious to the potential disaster looming. As they entered the imposing building, Nina's heart raced. They were about to challenge the very foundation of their society's understanding of quantum physics. The council chamber was vast and intimidating, filled with the brightest minds of their generation. Nina and Jax stood before them, presenting their findings with conviction. The initial response was skeptical, even dismissive. But as they laid out the evidence, a ripple of realization spread through the room. "This data is compelling," one council member finally said, a note of respect in their voice. "We need to investigate this further." The next few days were a blur of meetings, presentations, and debates. Nina and Jax found allies among the council, those who understood the gravity of the situation and were willing to take the risk. Slowly, they began to turn the tide. Finally, the council agreed to a moratorium on the most dangerous aspects of their research, giving them time to adjust their approach. The relief was palpable, but Nina knew this was only the beginning. "We've bought some time," Jax said as they left the building. "But we need to stay vigilant. The future is still uncertain." Nina nodded, a sense of cautious optimism taking hold. "We've changed the course of history once. We can do it again if we have to." As they walked through the bustling streets of New Tokyo, Nina felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced an unimaginable challenge and emerged victorious. The future was still unwritten, and with their newfound knowledge, they were determined to shape it for the better. In the weeks that followed, Nina and Jax delved deeper into their research, refining their theories and making astonishing breakthroughs. They had become the guardians of a fragile timeline, their work essential to preventing the looming catastrophe. The quantum communication device, once a curiosity, now served as a lifeline, occasionally delivering cryptic messages from the future. One evening, as they reviewed the latest data, the device crackled to life. Nina's heart skipped a beat as a familiar voice filled the room. "This is future Nina. You've made progress, but there's more to do. A new threat is emerging. Be prepared." Jax frowned, his mind racing. A new threat? What could it be? Nina's expression hardened with resolve. "We need to be ready for anything. Let's analyze the data and see if we can find any clues." They spent the night poring over the information, cross-referencing it with their current projects. The data hinted at a new quantum anomaly, one that could potentially unravel their timeline if left unchecked. "We need to investigate this anomaly," Jax said, his voice tense. "It's the only way to understand what we're up against." Nina nodded. "Agreed. But we need to be careful. Whatever this is, it's powerful enough to pose a serious threat." They gathered their equipment and set out for the location indicated by the data. The journey took them to the outskirts of the city, to an abandoned industrial complex that had once been a hub of technological innovation. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay, the buildings looming like silent sentinels in the darkness. "This place gives me the creeps," Nina muttered, her eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of danger. Jax nodded, his grip tightening on his scanner. "Stay alert. We don't know what we're dealing with yet." As they ventured deeper into the complex, the air grew colder, and a sense of unease settled over them. The anomaly was close, its presence palpable. They reached a large, sealed door, the metal corroded and covered in strange markings. "This is it," Jax said, his voice barely a whisper. "The anomaly is behind this door." Nina took a deep breath, her pulse racing. "Let's do this." They worked together to open the door, the metal groaning in protest. As the door finally creaked open, a blinding light flooded the room, and they shielded their eyes. When the light faded, they found themselves staring at a swirling vortex of energy, its colors shifting and pulsating in a mesmerizing dance. "This is incredible," Jax breathed, his eyes wide with awe. "It's a rift in the quantum fabric of reality." Nina's mind raced with possibilities. "We need to stabilize it before it grows any larger. If it expands, it could tear our timeline apart." They worked quickly, setting up their equipment and calibrating the devices to emit a stabilizing field. The vortex roared and crackled, its energy fluctuating wildly. Sweat dripped down Nina's forehead as she adjusted the controls, her heart pounding with the effort. "We're almost there," Jax shouted over the noise. "Just a little more." With a final adjustment, the stabilizing field activated, and the vortex began to shrink, its energy dissipating into the air. The room fell silent, the only sound the heavy breathing of Nina and Jax. "We did it," Nina gasped, her legs trembling with exhaustion. "We stabilized the anomaly." Jax nodded, a tired but triumphant smile on his face. "But we need to find out what caused it. This might just be the beginning." In the days that followed, Nina and Jax analyzed the data from the anomaly, searching for any clues that might explain its origin. They discovered that the anomaly was not a natural occurrence but had been artificially induced, the result of an experiment gone wrong. "This was deliberate," Jax said, his voice filled with anger. "Someone is tampering with the fabric of reality." Nina's expression darkened. "We need to find out who's behind this and stop them before they cause any more damage." Their investigation led them to a shadowy organization known as the Quantum Syndicate, a group of rogue scientists and technologists with a reputation for dangerous and unethical experiments. The Syndicate's goal was to harness the power of quantum anomalies for their own gain, regardless of the risks. "We need to infiltrate their base of operations," Nina said, determination burning in her eyes. "We have to stop them before they create another anomaly." Jax nodded. "Agreed, but we need to be careful. The Syndicate is known for their ruthless tactics." They devised a plan to infiltrate the Syndicate's headquarters, a fortified facility hidden beneath the city. Disguised as Syndicate members, they navigated the labyrinthine corridors, their hearts pounding with the fear of being discovered. As they reached the central control room, they found a team of scientists working on a new experiment, their faces illuminated by the glow of the quantum devices. Nina and Jax exchanged a tense glance, knowing they had to act quickly. Let's disable their equipment, Jax whispered, his eyes scanning the room for any threats. We can't let them create another anomaly. Nina nodded, her hands steady as she began to sabotage the devices. The scientists, absorbed in their work, didn't notice until it was too late. The equipment sparked and fizzled, the power surging uncontrollably. "What's happening?" one of the scientists shouted, panic in his voice. Nina and Jax stepped forward, their disguises discarded. "You're tampering with forces you don't understand," Nina said, her voice filled with authority. "We're here to stop you." The scientists froze, their eyes wide with fear and confusion. "Who are you?" another scientist demanded. "We're here to protect the timeline," Jax replied, his voice cold and unwavering. "And we won't let you endanger it any further." With the syndicate's equipment disabled, the immediate threat was neutralized. Nina and Jax secured the facility, ensuring that no further experiments could be conducted. They gathered evidence of the syndicate's activities, determined to bring them to justice. With the syndicate's threat contained, Nina and Jax returned to their work, their resolve stronger than ever. They continued to monitor the timeline, vigilant for any signs of further anomalies. Their partnership, forged in the fires of adversity, grew deeper, their bond unbreakable. One evening, as they reviewed the latest data, the quantum communication device crackled to life once more. Nina's heart skipped a beat as a familiar voice filled the room. "This is future Nina. You've done well, but the journey is far from over. Continue your work. The future depends on it." Nina and Jax exchanged a determined glance, knowing that their mission was ongoing. They had faced incredible challenges and emerged victorious, but the future was still a delicate web, each thread interconnected and fragile. As they gazed out at the city, the neon lights casting a vibrant glow against the night sky, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were the guardians of the timeline, protectors of a fragile reality. And they were ready to face whatever new challenges lay ahead. Nina glanced at Jax, a determined spark in her eyes. "This is just the start. There's so much more to discover." Jax smiled, a rare expression for him. "And we're the ones to uncover it." With that, they continued their work, ready to face the unknown, determined to protect the timeline and ensure a brighter future for all. Late one night, as they pored over data logs and research papers, the quantum communication device crackled to life again. This time, the voice was frantic, filled with urgency and fear. "This is future Jax. A catastrophic event is imminent. We're running out of time. You must act now." Nina and Jax exchanged a worried glance. "What event?" Nina asked, her voice trembling. "We're detecting an anomaly near the core of the planet," future Jax continued. "If it destabilizes, the entire timeline could collapse. You need to stop it before it's too late." The line went dead, leaving Nina and Jax in stunned silence. The implications were terrifying. If the planet's core was destabilizing, it could mean the end of everything they had fought to protect. "We need to move fast," Jax said, his voice grim. "Gather the equipment. We're heading to the core." They packed their gear and rushed to their ship, the gravity of their mission weighing heavily on their shoulders. As they flew towards the planet's core, the atmosphere grew tense, the air crackling with energy. The closer they got, the more unstable the readings became. "This is worse than we thought," Nina said, her voice barely a whisper. "If we don't stabilize the core, it could trigger a quantum cascade effect." They reached the core chamber, a massive, pulsating sphere of energy. The readings were off the charts, the energy levels dangerously high. They had no time to lose. "Set up the stabilizers," Jax instructed, his hands moving quickly over the controls. "We need to sync them with the core's frequency." Nina worked alongside him, their movements synchronized in a desperate dance against time. The core roared and pulsed, its energy threatening to tear the fabric of reality apart. "We're almost there," Jax shouted over the noise. "Just a few more adjustments." With a final calibration, the stabilizers activated, and the core's energy began to level out. The room fell silent, the danger seemingly averted. Nina and Jax breathed a sigh of relief, their bodies trembling with exhaustion. "We did it," Nina said, her voice shaking. "We stabilized the core." Jax nodded, a tired but triumphant smile on his face. "But we need to find out what caused it. This might just be the beginning." As they prepared to leave the core chamber, the quantum communication device crackled to life one last time. The voice that emerged sent chills down their spines. "This is future Nina. You've only delayed the inevitable. The real threat is still out there. Be prepared. It's coming for you." The line went dead, leaving Nina and Jax in stunned silence. The implications were terrifying. They had managed to stabilize the core, but the real danger was still lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. "We need to go back," Nina said, determination burning in her eyes. "We need to find out what this threat is and stop it for good." Jax nodded, his expression resolute. "Agreed. This isn't over. We have to protect the timeline no matter the cost." With a renewed sense of purpose, they set their course back to the surface, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The future was uncertain, and the stakes had never been higher. But they were determined to uncover the truth and protect their world from the impending threat. As they flew back to the city, the weight of their mission settled over them. The real battle was just beginning, and the future of the timeline depended on their success. They would face the unknown head-on, ready to fight for the survival of their world. Back in their apartment, Nina and Jax pored over the evidence they had gathered. The patterns, the anomalies, the syndicate's experiments had all pointed to a single, horrifying conclusion. Someone within the council, someone they trusted, was orchestrating these events. "We need to confront the council," Jax said, his voice steely. "This goes deeper than we thought." Nina nodded, her resolve hardening. "We'll expose the traitor and stop this once and for all." As they prepared to face the council, the quantum communication device crackled one last time. The voice that emerged was not their future selves, but someone else entirely, someone who had been pulling the strings all along. "Welcome, Nina and Jax. You've done well, but the game is far from over. The final move is yours to make." Nina and Jax exchanged a look of grim determination. The battle for the future had reached its climax, and they were ready to face their ultimate adversary. With their evidence in hand and their hearts steeled for the confrontation, they set out for the council headquarters. The fate of the timeline, their world, and everything they had fought for hung in the balance. As they walked through the bustling streets of New Tokyo, the neon lights casting long shadows, they knew that their journey was nearing its end. The final showdown awaited, and they were ready to fight for the future. The council chamber was silent as Nina and Jax entered, their presence commanding the attention of every member. They laid out their evidence, their voices ringing with the conviction of truth. "This is bigger than any of us," Nina declared, her eyes blazing. "Someone within this council is orchestrating these anomalies, risking the entire timeline for their own gain." The room erupted in shocked murmurs, but one figure remained still, a cold smile playing on their lips. Councillor Lorien, a senior member known for his radical ideas on quantum manipulation, stepped forward. "You've done well," Nina and Jax, Lorien said, his voice smooth and unperturbed, "but you've only uncovered part of the truth. The real question is, can you handle the full reality of our existence?" With a wave of his hand, Lorien activated a hidden panel, revealing a massive quantum device, the source of the anomalies. "This is the key to our future," he continued. "A future where we control time itself." Nina and Jax exchanged a determined glance. This was the moment they had prepared for, the ultimate confrontation to decide the fate of their world. "We won't let you destroy everything we've worked to protect," Jax said, stepping forward. "This ends now." The room descended into chaos as Nina and Jax confronted Lorien, their combined skills and determination pitted against his cunning and ambition. The quantum device roared to life, its energy swirling around them in a battle of wills. Nina's mind raced as she calibrated a counter-frequency to destabilize Lorien's control. Sweat dripped down her face, her hands steady despite the tension. "We can do this, Jax," she shouted over the noise. "We just need to hold on a little longer." Jax nodded, his focus unwavering. "Almost there. Just a few more adjustments." With a final surge of effort, they activated the counter-frequency, the device's energy sputtering and faltering. The room fell silent, the device deactivated, its power neutralized. Lorien's face twisted with rage and desperation. "You think you've won," he snarled. "This is far from over." Nina stepped forward, her voice firm and unyielding. "It's over, Lorien. Your plans end here." With Lorien apprehended and the quantum device secured, the council was left to rebuild and learn from the mistakes of the past. Nina and Jax were hailed as heroes, their efforts saving the timeline and ensuring a brighter future for all. As they stood on the balcony of the council headquarters, looking out over the city of New Tokyo, they felt a sense of accomplishment and hope. "We did it," Nina said, her voice filled with pride and relief. "We saved the future." Jax smiled, a rare expression of genuine happiness, "and we'll continue to protect it together." The city buzzed with life, the neon lights casting a vibrant glow against the night sky. The future was still uncertain, but with Nina and Jax standing as guardians of the timeline, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them with courage and determination. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Nina and Jax embraced the promise of a new day, ready to continue their journey and safeguard the fragile web of reality they had fought so hard to protect.